Many people have already heard that sugar feeds cancer cells. But did you know that? Fat can open the door to the whole body for a tumor. For example, a primary tumor, the first tumor found when someone is sick. It's about a receptor on cancer cells called CD36, and this receptor makes cancer cells mobile. It is actually activated by certain fats in your diet. And what that actually means, why it matters which oil you use and which foods you should avoid or prefer, you'll find out now. What exactly is this CD36? CD36 is what's known as a fat receptor. You can imagine it like a kind of gate on the surface of cells, through which fat enters the cell. And especially aggressive cancer cells have a lot of these CD36 receptors. And what makes this CD36 so dangerous? Because it helps cancer cells use fat as an energy source. And that's exactly the energy they need to detach from the primary tumor and travel through the body, and to form new metastases in other places. In 2016, it was proven for the first time that cells with a lot of CD36 on their surface actually trigger metastasis. And these cells are also called metastasis-initiating cells, and they need fat. Many of you have already heard it. Sugar feeds the tumor, but the fat opens the doors. To spread, that's what very few have heard. Sugar provides energy for the growth of the tumor. That's correct. But fat, especially certain saturated fatty acids, make it possible for cancer to spread throughout the body. And that's exactly the big topic in cancer research right now. Not just how to shrink the tumor, but how to prevent it from spreading in the first place. In simple words, sugar feeds the tumor, fat allows it to spread throughout the body. And that makes certain fats, especially in cancers that can metastasize, potentially even more dangerous than sugar. And at the very top is a fatty acid called palmitic acid. That's also a saturated fatty acid that activates the CD63 receptor particularly strongly. Well, and where do you find this palmitic acid in high concentrations? In fatty meats, like fatty cuts of beef, also in lamb, in burgers, in pork belly, in sausages, salami, bacon, liverwurst, but also in butter, cheese, cream, and in palm oil. And palm oil, that's actually where the name palmitic acid comes from, is found in countless processed baked goods, in sweets, in all processed foods, in frozen foods, in fast food, in chips, in pastries, in processed snacks. But the way food is prepared in general also plays a role. CD36 is activated even more by oxidized fats. And when does that happen? When frying, and especially in old or repeatedly heated oils. But also when grilling, searing, breading, and when storing rancid linseed oil or unsaturated oils. In short, fatty grilled meat, fries made with old oil, and ketchup with palm oil are a perfect breeding ground for CD36. By the way, eggs tend to have a moderate effect in studies. Not harmless, but not dramatic either. So apparently that has nothing to do with this CD36. What about fish? Fish, especially fatty types like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, tend to be neutral or even protective. And do you know why? Because they actually have a fairly high content of omega-3 fatty acids. CD36 plays a role in many aggressive types of cancer, and I want to list these types of cancer now. Namely, in breast cancer, in melanoma, in skin cancer, in oral cavity cancer, in stomach cancer, in liver cancer, and in ovarian cancer, but also in pancreatic carcinoma. And the same holds everywhere. The higher the CD36 activity, the higher the risk of metastases and the worse the prognosis. If you don't activate CD36, you take away the cancer cell's ability to spread. And that's why you should definitely avoid or reduce fatty processed meats, sausages, bacon, salami, products with palm oil, fried foods, especially those made with old oil, grilled meat with fatty edges, butter, cream, and fatty cheese. And above all processed foods that are so abundant today. Instead, prefer extra virgin olive oil, which is also ideal for cooking and light sautéing. Eat nuts, walnuts, almonds, and also avocados. Flax seeds are also wonderful sources of healthy fats. Hemp seeds, chia seeds, algae oils, or other plant-based omega-3 sources, steamed or cooked vegetables instead of fried ones. This is not a diet. For me, this is active cancer prevention. Today, you can do something that conventional medicine often finds difficult, which is to prevent the spread of cancer. Every day, we certainly have about 1,000 new cancer cells, maybe even much more. But if they simply aren't fed, then you're doing something before cancer cells can become dangerous. And CD36 is the receptor on cancer cells, and that shouldn't be activated. And you decide whether you activate it or not with every meal. And that's why you should choose fats that protect you, not those that fuel cancer. And if you're healthy right now, even better. Then now is the time to program your metabolism for cancer defense or to shift your whole body toward health. You don't have to change everything at once, but you can start with small things, just like I suggested. And it's best to do that today. Did you not know about this either? I think that's the case for 99.9% of the people living around us. And that's why I would really like to ask you to share this video.